Every MCP tool that you connect burns tokens. Of course, we all know that. But did you know that if you don't configure MCP in the right way, you are possibly spending way more tokens than you should be, especially the input tokens. Stick with me, I'll take you through what I learned today and how to actually set up MCP in the right way for Claude Code. I built a skill, and as I was testing it in a new folder, my AI took 36 minutes to actually check my email. And this is what happened. So I built a skill that scans Gmail and Google Drive for commitments. So this is a skill that helps identify any actions that are pending either on me or anyone else, which is generally buried deep in my emails. The skill works beautifully, that's a good news, but I ran it and I watched it spin and spin and spin for several minutes. I hit enter a bunch of times and nothing showed up, and I kept doing that and I thought it was looping. I pulled then I pulled the session logs. The model interestingly had finished 12 minutes, and it gave me the full results. If anyone hasn't looked at session logs, I'm using Claude Code, and if you go into your individual personal folder, which is I'm using Mac, so it's my name .cloud folder /projects. You'll find all of the log files for each of your individual project sessions. Um, and and I realized one thing when going through those logs. Every MCP tool call that I made, so and I had to make a Gmail search, I had to make an MCP call for Google Drive reading, for getting the thread. It stopped and waited for my enter key before it's even fired. And the interesting thing is, this user input is not even recorded in your log file, right? So there were 7 different calls made, and 7 times it just paused, and my result itself was actually buried under these several prompts, and the result actually came, but because I had scrolled past it, I kept thinking that it was just looping, right? So here's what actually the logs proved. I ran the exact same skill now with one simple change. I went into my root folder for where .cloud is installed, and in the root folder for .cloud, you can find a settings.json file. If you open the settings.json file, it has a field called permissions, and I allowed all of my Gmail specific MCP tools as allowed permissions. And the interesting thing that happened was, old run, my Gmail search waited totally 283 seconds for my approval and then fired in just 1 second. The new run was just like 1 second. So it was literally down from 36 minutes to like overall 36 minutes to when I set these permissions, it was just under 2 minutes end to end with all of the tool calls done, right? So nothing changed except the allow list. So one fix, go to your .cloud settings.json and allow the MCP tools that you know you need, are not dangerous and you're fine with it. They run silently and the results show up immediately, and you don't have this issue of fake loop. So the default permission mode is right for all of your code edits and bash commands, but for MCP tools, they're tied to your own account. Just allow list them, otherwise you're not watching the AI work, you're watching yourself approve it one enter at a time. And if you miss that window, you're just like sitting and waiting, right? So here's the screenshot of the time difference when I did not allow an allow list and I did allow the allow list, and a sample of how you set up your settings.json. So this is a key discovery as part of my journey of learning skills course, and if I find anything more interesting, I will keep sharing. So please do subscribe. See you with the next one.